Guys, welcome back to the Shattered Illusions. Not really podcast, but I guess it's more of a video episode today. Before we start, guys, like the video. That's the most important thing. That's how I know to bring you guys value and what you guys want to see. We got a heavy one today, man. This is going to be a little bit more of an uncomfortable video. It's going to be on some dating though, so I know you guys want to see that. Again, like the video, about to get into some really heavy things. So at Shattered Illusions, guys, we're more about understanding the truth for what it is, not what we want it to be. And I've been dealing with dating and dealing with women for a very long time. And I've kind of seen some common things that I've seen that are very uncomfortable that I didn't really want to admit. Women, for lack of a better word, they put up an illusion about who they are, what they want, what they perceive to be in front of you. That's ultimately not true. And we're going to break that down in this video today. Today's video, uncomfortable truths about women. Now, if you're one of these guys that are still holding on to fairy tales that all women's are, there's sugar and spice and everything nice, this is going to be a disappointing video for you. Because unfortunately, guys, women aren't good and they aren't bad. And that's kind of the problem I have with the modern red pill. It's like they constantly demonize women, saying how bad they are. When the truth is, women are just flawed, excuse me, creatures just like us. One of my favorite sayings about people is that they aren't good, they aren't bad, they just are. And that boils down to women to a T. So let's get something straight here, guys. I never want you to misconstrue anything I say on any of my videos about hating women because we're not about that over on this content. It's about understanding how they work so you won't be disappointed about how they actually are. Society, we're propped up by a bunch of lies by social media, the media, movies, things like that that makes us think that women all react to certain ways, and they don't. As I said before, guys, women are human, and just like humans, there are some uncomfortable truths that people don't like admitting. But the sooner you accept these truths about women, ultimately the happier you're going to be. Dante Nero has a really good example about how women kind of operate. He says that I can teach you how to have a dog, essentially. And we're not saying that women are dogs, but it's like when you have a dog, there are some unfortunate things about having it. You know, they're going to piss in the house sometimes, they're going to poop on the rug, you have to take them out for walks, they're going to be expensive vet bills, things like that. If you don't want to deal with a dog, you don't want to deal with those things that dogs have to offer, you shouldn't buy one. Don't buy a dog and expect not to have to walk it, or take it to the vet from time to time, or come home and your shoes are thrown up. That's just part of having a dog. That's how it works. So how am I going to set this video up? With a lot of the modern red pill, as I said before, they kind of get it messed up because they don't really give any of the credit to the pioneers. There's a guy on that started the red pill, not started, but he's been part of the movement for a very long time. His name's Black Dragon, also known as Caleb Jones. I've been reading Black Dragon for probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 years now. And he's kind of one of the more practical guys that I recommend guys to read because he really kind of breaks all this stuff down in a way that I haven't really seen broken down. But he has this idea that just like women are very delusional, women think that they are going to one day find a 6'5" giga chat that's going to marry them, have all this money and resources, never cheat. Men have that delusion as well, guys. It's something called guy Disney. So flip it on the other end of the guys. Most men think that if they just make enough money, they're tall enough, they hold masculine frame, that they're always on their grind and purpose, that a woman will never lie or cheat on them. And that's just not how it is, guys. I'm here to tell you right now, I don't care how much money you make, how many times you hold frame, how alpha you are, a girl is still a girl, which means she's prone to emotional decisions and she's going to do certain things, she's going to rub you the wrong way sometimes. Again, going back to the dog example, if you don't like that about women, don't deal with them. Just it is what it is. So here's the thing about women. Even the perfect woman that you have or perfect woman you've seen that's ideal, they get very bored very easily. It's just how it is. And with the relationships and dealing with women, Even the good ones, they still have some of these so not so good behaviors given enough period of time. We kind of get to this point now where we see relationships online, so we think that all of it's all good all the time. When if you really been with the girl, you know that, man, sometimes there's some really dark days there. Sometimes you can't stand that person. If you're honest as a guy, sometimes you want to have sex with somebody else, and that kind of goes to her too. Which brings me to my very first point, guys. Truth number one. This is gonna ruffle some feathers here, but bear with me. Women get bored with monogamy, and I meant to put faster than men on here, but I ran out of space. But women are bored with monogamy faster than men. I have seen this come to fruition so many times. Women are very political correct in what arouses them, what turns them on. And when you see a woman, she'll say the basic things. You know, she wants to get married, she wants to have kids, she wants to be with one guy for life. And that sounds good on paper. It's like socialism. But what you'll see in reality is that after a woman's been married for 2 or 3 years, she starts doing certain things to sabotage the relationship, like not sleeping with her husband. But see, you ask a woman what she says she wants. She says she wants a faithful guy that's going to be there for her, give her all the things that she needs. But when she gets that, she stops sleeping with him. Why is that? Because women say one thing and do the other all the time. I have so many friends who are currently married right now, both younger and older. They all say the same exact thing. They had all the sex in the world at first, and then they get committed, and the wife starts pulling back. And that's because no matter what a woman says, she doesn't like monogamy for longer periods of time. It innately turns them off. And women will fight me on this, but I'm telling you what I've seen and what the evidence also says. If you look at Esther Perel, who actually was on the Diary of a CEO, I reacted to a clip of this the other day, but she says the same exact thing. And she's a sex specialist. And most guys don't want to admit that when they marry a woman, they think they're just going to have eyes for them and they're never going to cheat. But I'm trying to tell you, when you deal with an emotional creature like a woman, that's just not how things are. And it's funny, when you deal with enough women, you'll realize certain things about them. Like me personally, I don't advise doing this, but I've slept with a lot of women who are currently in relationships or are married. And it's not because they're bad people that they're cheating, but women get into relationships, they realize that, damn, my guy, he's not really progressing as fast as he wants to anymore. My guy stopped trying to make money. He's lacked ambition. So part of it is our fault. But you have to understand something about this, guys. I don't care how good you are as a man. Realize women have eyes too. They're going to look at people and find them attractive. And when you're not on your purpose or your ground, you stop getting better when you're married, that's going to make your girl's eye wander a little bit faster. It's not going to stop it entirely, but it will make her eye like, damn, like she's not going to compare every single dude she's dealing with to you. So if she works, she's going to compare the guys that work to you, her other friends' husbands to you, guys she's dated in the past. And that's a very dangerous game because no matter how good of a guy you are, eventually you're going to fold in some area. It's just how it is. And as humans, we're prone to look back in the past and start seeing that, damn, that toxic boyfriend she had in the past in college, maybe he wasn't that bad. Women hate being bored, guys. And I hate to admit that, but it is what it is. So it's recognized, if you're going to get married, realize that your woman, it's a good chance she's going to eventually cheat on you. And there was a stat that came out on Black Dragon's blog, but he says that if you're married for a long enough period of time, there's a 97% chance, write that down, guys, 97% chance that you will either cheat, be cheated on, or you'll get divorced. And we see that coming to more and more fruition these days with the advent of social media and all these other things. Because remember back in the day, women, they had the desire to cheat, but it wasn't very easy for them to do it. But now it's so easy. Let's say you're with a woman for 5 or 10 years, you're married to her now, right? And of course, like most men, not men on this channel, but most men, they get into a marriage, they start getting fat, they start getting out of shape, they're not climbing up the corporate ladder, they're not trying to make more money. And then now she has Facebook, Instagram, TikTok to go back and look. So women are always going to go back and look, guys. They're going to say, damn, compared to my husband I have now, what is my ex doing? And no matter what the ex is doing, he might not even be doing better. But the fact of the matter is, it's just different. You see, women require different emotions to keep themselves stimulated. For guys, we can come in, watch Netflix, watch the game, have a beer after work, and kind of just keep that same routine. But for women, being mundane and kind of keeping that same routine, it's hell for them. Think I'm lying? Why do you think that women always deal with a toxic guy over the good guy? It's the emotional slot machine. It's like, what emotion am I going to get today? And I'm not condoning being abusive whatsoever, guys, but this is why women go back to abusers. I think Aaron Alexander coined this term. But you see, when a guy, he does something to a woman, maybe he might, hit on her, she might abuse her, whatever the case is, but then he'll go back and say, damn, I shouldn't have done that. That was a real bad thing for me to do. Then he goes and buys the flowers, plans expensive date, starts love bombing her. She's like, she feels so good now. It's that thing from going from feeling that low of being abused to all of a sudden feeling love. That's the high that women love. They love that variance of emotions. And most men, and honestly, most of the men that women marry, they're not looking at guys that are good guys, which is what women marry, the good guys. They're not looking at them for that emotional variance. They're looking at from security. So when a woman feels very flat for so long, she'll do something to make herself feel. Here's an example. If a woman feels too good for too long, she'll do something to make herself feel really bad. If she feels bad for too long, she'll do something to make herself feel really good. That's just how they work. So guys, realize, if you don't want to get married, just realize your woman is going to get bored with monogamy a lot faster than you are. I don't care what they say, because they're going to be women. They're going to say that's not true. Look at the evidence, both anecdotal and statistics. Women are cheating way more now than men are. Think about me. I want numbers. I want data. And that's not saying that all girls are going to cheat, but there's a very good chance that yours will. And I want you to ask yourself this real question. Women are going to deny it to the day that till the cows come home. But everyone thinks they're the exception. But you have to apply the rule to see if they actually are the exception. No woman goes in a relationship and says, yeah, I'm going to cheat on my husband. But it happens all the time. Why do you think that is? Because women say one thing, they do another all the time. It's no different. Here we go, guys. Truth number 2. Every woman has or will have a whole phase at some point. Now, I want to preface by saying this, guys. It's not what you think it is. This is not to say that every single woman is going to have a period where she's just being a straight, just like absolute whore. I'm talking about like having sex with 5 or 10 different guys, on spring break, sleeping with every single dude she sees. I'm not saying that. A girl's whole phase varies from woman to woman. Some girls, they are that wild. They're just really sexually out there. And most of the time it's because they've been abused in some shape, form, or fashion. Some girls are out there. They're going to be doing things like that. But I would argue the majority are not. So what's a whole phase for an average woman look like? That could be a woman that's dealing with 2 or 3 different dudes at a time. And she might not be having sex with all of them, but she's entertaining them, going on dates. And most guys meet a woman and they assume that she's the only one. But I promise you, there is very few women out here that are not dealing with some guy in some shape, form, or capacity. Again, they're going to deny it, but don't listen to that. I've had so many girls come on the show that I've talked to, or even that I've had individual conversations where they're always like, oh, I'm not talking to anybody. Then I get them a little bit more comfortable to talk about, spill their beans. Over 3 or 4 months later, she's like, yeah, I was talking to a guy. Women are prone to deny these kind of things, man. But I'm telling you, the more you talk to women and let me adjust this light real quick. And the more you kind of see how they move, you're going to realize they're all talking to multiple guys without exception. And I want you guys to think about the rate at which women are offered sex. And this is why I had a really red pill moment. If you're even a moderately attractive girl, you're going to be offered sex constantly online via social media. And let's just say you're mildly attractive, about a 6 or a 7 in the face. there are going to be at least minimum 20 or 30 dudes that are trying to talk to you at one point in time. And then there'll be guys that kind of approach here and there in person, maybe one or two of those guys. You think that a woman is saying no to 35 different dudes? This is what I'm talking about. It's that emotional variance, because a woman can feel like, you know what? I don't want to date today. And the very next second, not even the next day, something makes her feel really good. She's like, now I do want to date. So you'll kind of get those times where she's like, no, I don't want to date. Then I do want to date. She doesn't want to. So my point is saying that eventually she's going to fall for one of those 35 dudes, because women's emotions fluctuate way too much. I thought I thought women's emotion fluctuated by the day, but I'm telling you guys, it's by the second. Women have come to me and say, you know what? I can't stand you. I don't want to be with you. An hour goes by. She's like, I'm just so sorry. I really wanted to be with you. I'm sorry I even said that. I've had women say that they never want to talk to me again. We shouldn't speak anymore. And then 3 or 4 months later go by, they want to talk again. That's just how it is. So when you have these kind of perfect storm of happenings happening around her, you get stuff like this. And the thing about it is, if your girl has not gone through a whole phase, eventually she will. I'll tell you a quick story real quick. I don't want to put names out here, so I'm trying to keep this a little bit more subliminal if I can. But when you're with a girl long enough, you'll start knowing all of their friends' business. They'll tell you everything. And the girls that I talk to, they always confide in me, because I'll tell them what's going to happen with their friends long before it ever happens. So I know a lot of my girlfriends that I've had in the past, friends, they got married very, very young. I'm talking about like 17, 18, 19. And that's probably what you want to do as a woman, but there's also a backfiring to that, right? So they get young. I'm talking about girls that get young this age and are virgins, have never had another guy besides their husband. And then the girl starts working out. She starts going to college, whatever the case is, to a point where she's around a lot of men. And then she starts thinking in her head, like, wow, I've never really experienced any other guys before. Because again, I told you, a woman's constantly assessing other guys and comparing them to the options she currently has, which is a husband. And 9 chances out of 10, the husband's messing up in some shape, form, or fashion, because nobody can be 100% perfect in any relationship. Women don't get that, but they're going to start comparing. So that 19-year-old in this example, she's been married 8 or 9 years now. She's never had a whole phase, right? You would think that, oh, the guy's in the clear. Wrong. Wrong. Women don't work that way. So now a lot of these people that have been married 8 or 9 years, they're now finding out that, wait, there's other guys out here but my husband. They want to sleep with me. And I can do without my husband finding out, because most guys are oblivious, guys. They think that once they have a woman secure, that the game's over with. They have them 100% secure. Nuh-uh. Going back to point 1, women get bored with monogamy faster. So there are men that are currently in relationships right now, not knowing the wife's cheating on them. I'm telling you, I've seen it. Still seeing it to this day. But going back to the whole phase, now these girls, they're not only sleeping with their husband, they're fucking 3 or 4 different dudes behind the scenes as well. So if your girl has not had a whole phase yet, I promise you, she gonna have one. Whether it's with you, somebody else, or she's already been through one, eventually she's gonna do it. Again, this is not to make you paranoid, guy, because every girl's whole phase is not manifesting the same exact way. But realize most guys don't want their chick talking to anybody but them. But there's going to be some period in time between her being 16 and her being 40 that she's going to have a phase where she's dealing with multiple dudes more than once. That's just how it is. You can't deal with it. You don't like it. Don't deal with a woman. And of course, as I said before, they're going to deny it, but it ain't true. Listen to your brother TK, man. I'm not going to steer you wrong. If you think you're the only dude your girl's ever talked to or ever will, I got some news for you. That girl going to take you to hell. Truth number 3, guys. Women are way more sexual than you think they are. And it goes back to another theme of this video. Women play very, very coy about their sexuality. They're so afraid of being judged and they have societal programming inside them. They think they have to be on their P's and Q's all the time. But you know what I've seen, guys? The more I talk to a new woman and the less I judge them, the more they will reveal about themselves. And if you come off as a man that just gets it, you don't judge a woman, she'll tell you everything. Guys, these women have the dirtiest minds that you can ever think of. I've been around female friends, my cousins, some of my family members. When they get drunk and they start really telling the truth, and they'll say what they would do to guys or what they have done to guys, most guys would be shocked. And also, just when you've been with women and you're that safe haven for them, they'll let their guards down and tell you everything automatically. I've had a lot of girls who have said some really like crazy things to me that they want me to do to them. And this is not condoning this again, but I'm just telling you my personal experience. There are women that have told me to choke them, beat them. They want to be hurt. They want me to degrade them. I've had women tell me to tie a belt around their neck, choke them out that way. And when you see stuff like that, you're just like, damn, the rabbit hole goes really deep with this, guys. And actually, matter of fact, I'm gonna put you on some game right here, right now. I just started reading this book, but it's called My Secret Garden: Women's Sexual Fantasies. It's a book by Nancy Friday. This was published, I think, in the 70s or 80s. Guys, I've always been told to read this book, but this is where women write into this editor and they share their fantasies anonymously. There is some sick stuff in here, guys. This is free game for y'all. You don't believe me? Go read it. When I'm saying sick, I'm not judging anybody, but women just really are very, very, very sexual. Check this one out. Also, I got one more for y'all. This one right here, A Billion Wicked Thoughts: What the Internet Tells Us About Sexual Relationships. It's by Ogie August and Cy Goodman. Guys, check this one out too. This one goes really kind of into the deep differences between sexuality and men and women. This is a really good read. Also, I think that if you guys want me to do kind of more of some of the books that I've read that can bring you guys some value, let me know. I'll be interested in doing something like that. But the thing I want you guys to take away from this number 3 is that women love dominance. They love being degraded, and they're a lot more sexual than you actually will ever believe. And that includes even the good ones. And I found that even girls that had less bodies or had a less of a body count, they still want the nastiest things done to them. That's not to mention that if a girl's had a lot of bodies, there's going to even be more sexual variety and more sexual cravings there. So be wary of that, guys. Truth number 4. A woman's heart is a deep ocean of secrets. Titanic is one of the best movies ever made. And for a very long time, maybe when I was in my teenage years, I didn't admit that I liked the movie as much as I did. But it's so many valuable lessons about women's nature in that movie. No matter what you say, it's still one of the top grossing films ever, right? And there's a line towards the end of the movie where Rose, the main character, she says, a woman's heart is a deep ocean full of secrets. And that sounds beautiful on the surface end. But when we really think about what that movie's about, that's some really messed up things to say. And granted, guys, we know it's a movie, but art imitates life. When Rose was passing away and she was dying on Titanic, she wasn't thinking about her husband. She wasn't thinking about her grandchildren. She wasn't thinking about her children. She was thinking about some guy that screwed her 84 years previously. Let that sink in. Guys, when you marry a woman, there are going to be times she's thinking about somebody else outside of you. There are going to be times where she's fantasizing about having sex with somebody else. There's going to be guys she's talking to you don't know about. There's a work husband in the picture. If you think I'm lying, guys, take your girl's phone, and I don't advise doing this, but take your girl's phone. I promise you there'll be something in there you don't want to see. Women take things to the grave. And you see prior in that movie Titanic, she would took that to the grave. But she came back to drop the diamond where she left it, whatever the case is. Go watch the movie if you haven't seen it. But if she had not gone to Titanic, her husband would have known about Jack. Her family would have known about Jack. She told that story for her own benefit. There's always going to be a guy in the background or something your girl did that you would not want to know about. And that's just how it is. So when you're with a woman, guys, accept the fact that you'll never know her truly. Don't waste your time trying to even figure every single small detail out about her. We can do our best to vet the kind of women that we deal with, but sometimes even the best vetters and even the best women are still going to have secrets you just don't know about. You have to accept that for your own sanity. So if something comes up 5, 10, 20 years ago, you got to say, you know what, she's a woman. That's how it is. Do the best you can to vet. Look for any kind of red flags. Look for certain signs. But sometimes you're just going to get got. Now, guys, just because you'll never know her doesn't mean you can't build with her. Doesn't mean you can't trust her to a certain extent. Just never let your peace be defined upon her telling you everything. Because if you're going to deal with a woman, just realize it ain't going to happen. Now, guys, I know some of these truths are a little bit bitter and kind of hard to swallow. If you guys want me to do a part 2, I definitely can do that because I think I have even more to say about this. But I'm trying to just kind of gauge the interest of levels of things I'm starting to talk about. I've noticed that this is something I have not really ever covered before, at least in this much depth. But when you guys know the game, you'll start understanding that there's just certain things you can't control in your life. And if you can't deal with the coyness of a woman's manipulative nature, you can't deal with emotional outbursts, you can't deal with hot and cold, you can't deal with them being sexual, you can't deal with the woman having secrets, just don't deal with the woman, guys. But here's the thing. We all know, we all desire to deal with a woman, but we can't be blinded by society's programming or by social media or by the media or by Disney. All women, even the good ones, are going to exhibit these 4 truths. They're going to do these things, but to various degrees. That's not saying that all girls are hoes, but all girls have done hoe things. Just because your girl's bored with monogamy doesn't mean she's going to cheat, but she will get bored. Just because your woman has a hoe phase doesn't mean she was dealing with 5, 6, 7, 10 dudes. Sometimes only 2 or 3. Just because your woman's more sexual than you know doesn't mean she's going to act on it. And just because your woman's heart is a deep ocean full of secrets doesn't necessarily mean the secret is going to be life-changing for you. Guys, take these principles, apply them the best way you can, and live your life. We don't hate women. We just try to understand them. Accept reality. Stop chasing unicorns. And stop trying to make a woman exist that does not exist in real life. Guys, we cannot afford to be delusional like women are. We have to understand that as humans, we are flawed creatures. We both have good and bad characteristics. Women don't understand themselves, so we have to understand them for them. That's the video for today, guys. Like the video. That's all my time. Till the next time, this is your boy tkmckenna. Kill the fantasy, build the dream. Shout out Illusionz.